It was a bit like yesterday. It's like just kind of a different format for me. When I got in before, I kind of played a little bit earlier, kind of chilled out and got a chance to see everything, whereas last night I came in and I didn't get in until it was already dark out and everything, and the show was a bit larger for me, and it was cool. You know, it was definitely a bigger crowd, a bit more chaotic. It was kind of like everything like the last Bonnaroo, just taken up a few notches. So yeah, it's cool. I really like the crowd here. It's very, you know, I think it's a bit more diverse than a typical festival, and yeah, it's more of like, I don't know. It seems like people here are like here to enjoy things rather than critique things, so it's fun. Playing at 2 seems very fitting as opposed to showing up at a festival and playing at 6 p.m. when that's kind of typically a couple hours after I wake up. So yeah, no, it was cool, you know, and I felt like, I kind of feel like everyone's ready to lose their mind at that point, and I definitely felt that. You know, it was very chaotic. Everyone's been out in the sun all day and drinking or doing whatever. So yeah, it's like, you know, I like the show to be as chaotic and insane as impossible, so I thought it would, you know, fit that well. You know, I understand fair use as a concept in media, in music, and movies, and art, and everywhere, where you can, you know, take an idea, something that's existed before you, and use it and sample it. And if you're using a physical sample, such as from a song or, you know, a clip from a movie or something, if you're using it in such a way that it's transformative and it's not negatively impacting the potential sales of the source material, and if you're, you know, kind of looks at the intention of what you're doing. Is the goal basically to, you know, make money off of that, or is it to create something new, or is it for educational purposes? So it's basically a subjective analysis of how you're reusing something. So in the world of music, I always think of it as, you know, I want to sample things, I want it to be recognizable, but I want to take it somewhere that it becomes a new entity, and in such a way that it's not negatively impacting the source material, it's not hurting them, it's not creating competition, it's not even in the same world. So yeah, it's just, you know, I feel like it's kind of the foundation of all art and music, where no idea is truly original. Everything has to come from something. You have to base everything on something that's come before you. So I don't see any difference between, you know, being influenced by a particular guitar style and incorporating that into the guitar lick you write versus, you know, actually sampling a guitar lick and doing something new with it. I like it all to be top 40. I like it to be things that are potentially recognizable, but then within that whole world, you know, you have very common top 40 songs that you hear on commercials every day and on the radio, and then you have obscure top 40 cuts. So I like it to be a balance. You know, I like to have certain songs where people, you know, who recognize will be very excited they recognize it, because other people maybe not, and then I like to have the one that everyone recognizes. So it's a balance. I don't want to hit everyone over the head with, you're going to recognize every single one of these songs in a row. So I'm a big pop music fan. I like to stay within that world, but you know, as far as recognizability, like I was saying, it's a balance. It's hard for me to say. It's not like I can't sit here and say, oh, half the songs have to be songs you hear every day of your life or anything like that. But yeah, it's just somewhere in between, and I think that's all about working on an album and on the sets. That's kind of the challenge there, to make it, I like to keep it diverse. You know, I don't like to play too much 80s or 90s in a row, or any too much electronic music, or I like to kind of keep it as eclectic as possible, and with that is the recognizability. So, you know, like I was saying before, just the really recognizable stuff next to the things that are slightly more obscure. Always the people can be the best visual component, and I feel like these days, like at festivals, you know, I have a couple people who come out with me and do a bunch of confetti and balloons and crazy stuff and projections, and I love that, but that was never really a thing until the past year or so. You know, I had never really done that before, and I definitely think it's helpful, but for me, you know, I feel like having people on stage and getting in the crowd, to me, that's the ultimate level of visuals. And I feel like when you're watching any band, you know, you're kind of just staring up there, getting into the music. So I don't feel like it's absolutely a necessity. I don't feel like it's completely crucial to have that. But these days, I like to kind of push it as much as possible. For me, it's like a very, you know, celebratory sort of atmosphere. So the more things flying around, and objects and projections and people on stage and people in the crowd, all of that comes together to make a more kind of cohesive party atmosphere.